All right. Hi, I am Aubrey. I'm here with John from All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. We are here to talk about your air conditioners and your furnace this year and how to keep it efficient, what it's going to look like in 2024, common issues you might have, and things you might face this year with utility bills and, any kind of problems you have. Hi, John. How are you?
Hello, it's good to see you again.
You too. So let's talk about first, how does a furnace deteriorate over time?
Okay, that's a good question. So, a furnace lifespan is really no longer than 20 years. So, what
Okay.
happens is as fuel's burning, there's moisture in fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And so, over time, it can rust things out. And then the other part of the operating of the system is you have multiple moving parts, and those over time, on, off, on, off, on, off. Even with
Right.
your air conditioner, that those items fail. Well, after a while, they're all getting the same age, and then they start failing. Oh, this happened a little bit longer. This happened, and there you go.
Okay.
That's the breakdown of how they leave you.
Yeah. How would I know? So, what are the most common signs that somebody like, I know nothing about it? What would I notice and what would I, how would I be able to tell that there's age or wear and tear on it?
The best way to know age and wear and tear is literally the age.
Okay.
So find out how old it is. You can do that
Mm-hmm.
by Googling the model number or serial number
Right.
with the brand, and they can tell you how to decipher those. And that'll tell you your age, or
Right.
you just know it
Right.
because maybe you bought the house and you know it. The other is go ahead, go in that room that everyone likes to shut the door and never go in again.
Right.
Go in that room, take the doors off, take a look, and you're noticing maybe a little rust here, a little that, little really dirty,
Right.
and those things are like, oh, this thing has some age.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Tell me, if I'm in my home, what are some common signs or signals that I would be able to notice if I knew or I felt like maybe my uh, heating system was going out or my furnace was going out or something was wrong and I needed to call you? What would that look like? Would there be a noise? Would there be like something in the air? How would I know I needed to call you?
Yeah, that's another good question. With that, to know whether you need to replace or just repair, the best thing to do is think of maybe it just needs repaired. Well, you might hear some noise you haven't heard before. You used to not have hot and cold, maybe parts of the home.
Right?
You might be seeing you're not liking the air quality, more dust,
Sure.
something like that, that you're like, oh my gosh. Um, all those things, or even a smell, and then the most obvious is you're going, my home is cold, and why is that? And it's not turning on. And then, yes, then you would call us, and we will come out and find out exactly what is the problem.
Okay.
And we try to give you options. That's to solve the problem, repair, replace, whatever's the proper thing to do that would go along with your wants.
How does Utah's extreme winter conditions affect the performance and efficiency of a furnace?
Yes, there you go. So Utah, especially now, has been a little bit unique. We're cold,
Right.
then we're hot. Then we're
Right.
cold, then we're hot. Well, it's just like a car going down the freeway. Well, that's your best fuel mileage. Well, a furnace going on and off with our weather,
Sure.
not talking about there's other parts to that, but with our weather, that's going to affect its efficiency. It also will affect how fast it may break down, which leads to the maintenance. Stay up on your maintenance, everybody. That's
Sure.
key.
Absolutely. In Utah, with the poor air quality that we get, inversion and all that, does that affect my furnace and air conditioning system?
Yeah. So the any pollution that we have or anything like that, it might. And I don't want to get too technical, but there is such a thing called a pressure switch
Okay.
that actually is moving, and moisture can get in that. And there, other than that, not at all. What it's
Good to know.
affecting is you.
So, John, how much does it cost to replace a furnace?
All right, great question. There's some things about it. It's efficiency, changes pricing. Obviously, the size of it, what is needed to heat and cool the home, office, or anything like that. The cool thing is we actually have a pricing tool on our website, allutahplumbing.com. You can go there and you can actually go through it and pick kind of your home, that kind of, and just answer the questions, and it'll give you a very close cost of what it would be to replace your furnace or air conditioner or both.
Right, that's awesome. So how it works is I would just go to the website, I would enter it all in, and it would give me kind of an estimate.
Yep.
That's
and then
awesome.
And then we would come out and actually analyze the situation,
Sure.
make sure that what is picked is proper.
Right.
Get the professionals out. We'll go through the whole thing again, a site evaluation, and then after that it'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
now we're giving you exactly what it'll cost you.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've heard that there's an 80% and a 90% furnace. What's the difference?
Perfect. Okay, an 80% furnace burns its fuel 80% complete. So
Okay.
20% where you're seeing, as you're driving through neighborhood, you might see a metal looking pipe out the roof of their home.
Yeah.
So that's where it's hooked up to, and it goes out the roof.
Right.
So what you're seeing is the combustion of it, but you're losing 20% in that neighborhood of your fuel usage out the pipe.
Okay.
90%, okay, you're only losing 10%.
Yeah.
It is vented a little bit different, but they also make, 90%, 95s, 90, all the way to 98.
Oh, wow.
So way more efficient. The industry's changing that way, so it's an awesome thing.
Okay, and then is single stage, two stage, or modulating furnaces better?
But, okay, I believe the modulating.
Okay, why?
And here's why. So a modulating furnace, okay, well, we'll real quick talk about a single stage. Single stage comes on, does its job, gets the house warm,
Right.
shuts off, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
A two stage has two different levels, so it'll be at a very low fire, the fire's on, just kind of, and then when it needs, usually on a time situation, it'll fire to the full 100% firing mode to get you comfortable.
Right.
Modulating is exactly what it says.
Okay.
So it'll start out at a very small amount, and then it'll gradually move higher and higher. The cool thing about that one, the two-stage does it a little bit as well, but the modulating, it also is recording this information basically.
Oh, okay.
And trying to say, okay, we want it at this temperature, and so it's going to try to never go into 100% fire. It's going to try to stay in the very low amount or medium high to do its job.
Right.
It's there when needed. And so that is what makes it even more efficient. Whether you're in the 80% or the 90%, both of them have abilities to be modulating.
Interesting. Okay. Is it cheaper to replace my furnace and air conditioning together? Or is it better to just do it as needed?
Yes, it totally is. When you buy it as a package, that's the best way to say it. So you get a furnace and air conditioner. They're usually the same age anyway.
Okay.
So you replace them together, and you can save all the way as much as $3,500 savings when you put them together, simply because of the work. So,
Oh, sure, of
yeah,
course.
not to make this a long answer, but some competitors or whatever will say free furnace or something like that, or when you get an air conditioner.
Right.
Okay, that's the same thing. We
Yeah.
all do it because when you do it as a package, the amount of money you save in labor and work actually to do the job is that much less.
Of course, of course. So how does investing in a high quality furnace or air conditioner impact the long-term household expense?
Okay, so investing, there's two answers to that. There is such a thing, and I don't want to reference cars necessarily, but in the HVAC world, brand matters.
Okay.
Brand matters. So buying the right brand will give you the longevity of investing in a high efficiency equipment because it's going to stand by it and through the test of time, because your real brands, I'll just say them: Lennox, Carrier, Train, York,
Right.
and that's my opinion. And so,
And that matters because I don't know a brand. So if you're coming to me and telling me what brand, I'm glad that you know what brands those are.
Exactly. And you do pay a little bit more for these products, but everybody follows what they're doing, is typically. And then later on, 2 years down the line, all of a sudden that particular furnace brand is doing something similar. So brand will get you the longevity of it, where the savings and everything else comes from is the efficiency and everything. So your improvement of the quality of your life in your home is because of that piece of equipment. You're comfortable.
Right.
That's satisfying. And it doesn't break down as often. That's satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those things. And so therefore you can get your full lifespan. Remember what we were saying about 20 years.
Right.
And you're like, okay, cool. Which gave you time to be ready for the next one.
Right. Does that affect like utility bills and household expenses that way?
It will on your electrical. You're going to save a little bit because high efficient equipment also have motors and things that are efficiently made to operate. And then the fuel, which is natural gas typically, that because it's so efficient saves on those utility bills. And so the rest of everything else, it's not going to help you with your property tax.
Dang it. All right. So does my homeowner's insurance cover HVAC and furnace replacement?
Not homeowners insurance.
Okay.
There is programs that people sign up that are, hey, I've got a home warranty thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those things they just want to fix it, put as little as they in. Those companies are in business to make money.
Okay.
And so they will fix only what's needed.
Right.
And that's it. Well, it needs clean too. Well, no, we don't cover that. They've got a lot of things in those programs that are not covered.
Interesting. So as a homeowner, what are specific things that I need to check as far as maintenance with winter coming and with winter here? What are things that I need to be looking at between heating and cooling in my plumbing system?
Sure. So with your heating and cooling, so every fall I recommend, but if you forgot, don't worry about it. Do it tonight.
Okay.
So go in. Most thermostats have a battery in them.
Mm-hmm.
Change the battery.
Okay.
Before it just doesn't work. Don't let it wear out like we do with our flashlight or something. Just change them every spring and fall. Just give them new batteries. Then every month, if it's a 1-inch pleated filter or straight filter, 1 inch, every month. Change that every single month.
I am failing at that.
Yes.
Every month.
Most people are. Most people are. So, change that every month and just kind of don't be afraid to take, the door off. I mean, if it has screws or something, some of them do, maybe not, but a lot of them are just some knobs, and you just take a look. If it's looking dusty, there's nothing wrong with you shutting the power off. There's a little switch, and you just kind of dusting around. I mean, don't spray anything in there.
Sure.
Just kind of dust it if you want. And other than that, the professional. So you do those things spring and fall.
Okay.
On the air conditioner, fall, you can take your garden hose. I actually have videos on this. You have the unit off.
Okay.
And just spray. You don't need to undo the power. It's sealed. It gets rained on all the time. So just spray the coils on the outside unit.
Okay.
Maybe a couple times a year if you want. I do mine a lot just to do it.
Good.
It helps it breathe. So but you would do the same thing I said for the furnace. Same thing. Plumbing, always just kind of walk through your house. Look under sinks. Put your hand in there. Do you feel water? Ooh.
Right.
There you go. Just kind of see how things are working. Excuse me. Just kind of see how things are working, and then you're golden. If there is something, give us a call.
Right. Perfect. what should homeowners budget for in terms of maintenance for all of their HVAC systems and anything that might come up?
Yeah, that is perfect that you would actually put that into a budget, because a lot of people don't. So most companies, but ours, we love ours, we have what's called a white glove service club. And so there's two products that you can buy. The common one is you pay $375 for the year. We come out 2 times a year. We go through everything, but in more detail.
Sure.
On the furnace, air conditioning. We check components and, literally using our meters and everything, go through the systems, fall, spring. That's where we try to stay at.
Right.
And then we go through the plumbing each trip as well.
Okay.
And check. We check pressure. We look at the water heater. There's a thing called an expansion tank. Make sure that's working. Just check literally everything that we possibly can see. Can't see in the walls, unfortunately.
Right.
And that will make your home less likely to have breakdowns on Christmas Eve.
Good thing. That's probably when they happen, right?
Yes.
What do you recommend, or how can I identify and resolve common HVAC system issues before I called you?
There you go. Okay, so I tell people if say your furnace isn't working, it's cold. You're cold in the home. You're like, what the heck, And so I tell people, okay, go to the thermostat. Go ahead, even if you just change those batteries, put new batteries in it. Then go down to the basement. Typically the basement
Sure.
is where they're at. And there's that switch that we talked about on the side. Turn it off, count to 10, turn it back on. Don't walk away. Listen to it. You'll hear it do its different things. We'll just do it that way. It's a process.
Right.
And if it just gets running and you hear the blower, you're like, oh, well, yeah, it's working. That takes about a minute and a half. Go upstairs, feel a vent. Yep, I'm warm. Hey, maybe there was just a little power bump or something real quick. Those are the things to check. What I don't want is you to take usually what they call the lower door off and start sticking your fingers in there for many reasons. You get shocked or whatever. There could be something more going on than what I just mentioned.
Right, and then I would just break it.
Yeah, and just call me. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about Christmas Eve. What are some of the common winter emergencies that I'm going to see in my heating and plumbing system?
Yeah, if we choose winter, then you've got frozen pipes at the beginning of winter, or even like how we're doing it right now in Utah. It's a little warm, then it's cold. A lot of water heater calls.
Okay.
I can't back this up. It's another my opinion, but I feel because the water being delivered to us changes temperature even by a degree or something like that, degree and a half. And I think it shocks the water heater a little bit, and so it goes with it. So it'll get really cold. All of a sudden, the phone's ringing for my water heater's leaking or whatever.
Right.
So our weather up and down breaks things. So a lot of water heaters, clogged drains at the holidays. People think that disposal, just put everything in there. No, don't do that. Little pieces, everybody, little pieces. Use your trash. Get all that food off into the trash. That's the best decision. So clogs, that, frozen pipes.
Right.
And, furnaces kind of always. Once they get working after a while, not to, carry on, but a lot of times, well after the new year, those furnaces that are on their last leg, believe it or not, will probably make it through the season, and then the next season just not work.
They won't. What are the top 3 calls that you get during the winter? Any kind of call, whether that's the water heater, air conditioner. I guess you probably wouldn't see air conditioner, heating system. What would be your top 3 calls that you get that you guys come out and fix?
Right. So the like an urgency call would be water heaters, furnace not working, clogged drains around the holidays. Those are the most common winter calls. So what we would do is come out as quickly as our schedule allows. We come out with our white glove service for that water heater, or it's a drain clog, or the furnace isn't working. And so the whole idea is to be as conveniently accessible for our client 24 hours a day.
What are the latest advancements that you've seen in furnace and air conditioning technology?
The latest I would say the trend, because we've had the modulating and things like we've talked about before. Not much has improved. I mean, in the normal HVAC systems, homes, what's changing is more ductless splits system. So split systems are called a couple different things where you have a unit and then you just have what they call cassettes, and they're putting them through the home instead of one central unit. So we're seeing that becoming a more and more common. The next one is our hybrid systems, where it's an air conditioner, but it also makes heat, otherwise known as a heat pump. That is working better now as well. It used to be something done in the South part of the country.
Oh, okay.
Well, now there's people installing these heat pumps in Canada. So they're able to do their job. So that's kind of the most recent things.
Okay, and then how is smart home technology integrating with traditional heating and cooling systems?
It's trying. So unless you got a ton of money for software, it is helping. There's companies out there, I don't want to name drop right now, that have systems, so you end up getting like a security, and it comes with, and now you can control your furnace and all this stuff through it. Plenty of issues at times, but it's getting there. It's getting to the point I could really bore these people that we're talking to maybe, because it gets technical. But yes, on big businesses, they have it all wired through a computer system. It's really cool. There's not a thermostat. The thermostat's on the computer, and you're controlling the entire building. That's pretty cool. It's coming to homes.
Is it?
But it's not there yet.
Okay, that is cool. All right. Could you share some insider tips on furnace and air conditioning maintenance that aren't commonly known?
So the vents in your home that you see, those need to be open all the way around, because the system is made to move a certain amount of air through that ducting system freely. And when we start shutting those off, especially in the air conditioning season, but we're in the heating season, and so it doesn't affect it as much, but it can't breathe.
Right.
What goes out of those vents has to go back, and so it's a big circle. And if you start affecting that, you're hurting the piece of equipment.
Interesting. But if I have like one room that's hot and one room that's cold, how do I fix that?
By calling me. Call all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, and we can look at it. That's a lot of times a ducting problem, a design problem.
Yeah.
How the house is done. Sometimes it's fixable with a modulating, or somewhat fixable. I'll never say there's not a way to fix it, but it's probably a design problem.
Interesting.
And so
even if the home is newer, you're thinking, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
The new homes are, we'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, well.
Maybe cut that totally out.
They don't make
want
things
to
the way they used to.
I don't want to bash.
That's okay.
But we can talk. Don't buy a new home. You're stupid.
Just remodel.
I really
and
wouldn't.
Call you. What are the biggest misconceptions about heating and cooling homes during the winter?
So the biggest one that the biggest answer that I have for that is, well, it was working yesterday.
Right.
And so why is it not working today? It should just work.
Well,
really?
Yeah, it should.
That's unfortunately what people, that's the biggest one, is it should just work.
That's what people tell you.
Yes.
Okay. But they're calling you to come fix it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, you know.
Off camera.
We all have our days.
Off camera, they're pissed. I can't believe this. And my answer to them, I understand. I'm not a big flat screen TV. I get it. You don't want me here. I get it.
Fair.
I have said that.
Are there any government incentives or rebates for upgrading to energy efficient systems?
There are, and it depends upon what brands,
Okay.
again, have what qualifications. All of it is high efficient stuff. It has to be high efficient.
Right.
And so there are good rebates available. They're not as good as they were, but there are some that the client can do the legwork and do
Right.
and submit and get what rebates they can. But it is on all high efficient equipment. And so high efficient equals high dollars, which
Right.
is not bad. If you can
Sure.
do it, it's going to save you in the end.
Does it matter? Does it shift at all within time of year, those rebates at all, or does it stay pretty consistent?
It shifts per year because it's all from the
okay.
government, so they reanalyze or they already set like we're going to let it go this long and then it's going to be over and things like that. One thing to go with that on high efficient, okay? So whoever you're talking to, of course, I want you to call Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, but you should not buy high. This is another my opinion, okay? If you're not going to be in that home for more than 8 years, definitely more than 8 years, do not buy high efficient equipment. You won't
okay.
get your money back.
Right.
The
that
whole
makes sense.
idea is the longer you stay, the savings that it gives you, if you stay long enough, can buy your new system for you because you
Okay.
save. Now, we have to remember when I say that, I'm not accounting for inflation,
Sure.
but that's how it should be sold. It shouldn't be sold because it's a high dollar amount and woohoo, the company's going to make a bunch of money. Is that best for the customer? I don't think so.
Right. Right. All right, John. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and telling us all about all Utah plumbing, heating, and air. Appreciate you.
You bet. It was a pleasure. It really was.